Hey, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. So, e-learning is a hot topic right now, right? All the schools are converting their classroom educations into a mobile or learn at home format. It's actually a great opportunity for you to be a true partner to your schools. This is your chance to be so much more than just a product source. You can help them create, craft. Sorry, I'm going to start over because I screwed up. I hope you don't get mad at me. Okay. Blah. All right. E-learning is a hot topic right now. So all the schools are converting their classroom educations into a mobile learn at home format. This is a great opportunity for you to be a true partner to your schools. It's your chance to be so much more than just a product source. You can help them craft custom solutions. So for example, a typical student working from their bedroom or living room or kitchen table would need what? A Chromebook. ASUS has some great options that are lightweight and durable. And given the increased risk levels with sending these devices home with all ages, I'm going to suggest you get an all-in-one cover. We have a great one from Higher Ground. It's one that I use for my daughter. So it's a pretty important accessory, and it offers you a solid margin as a partner. So you can even get these from Higher Ground. You can get them customized with school logos, and quantities are as low as 100. But your student's going to need some basic accessories as well. So consider a Logitech mouse for the students doing a lot of video lessons. It's recommended that we have an external webcam also for better imaging. And Logitech has the most highly rated Chrome OS compatible webcam on the market. Students would also need a headset. Avid makes some great models, and they sell them in the right quality and price point for the K-12 marketplace. They come in 10, 25, and 30 packs, I believe. It's perfect for a school purchase. Teachers who are presenting online courses also have a bit of a different set of needs from the students. So often educators are going to prefer a Windows 10 device, and Acer has several options that transition well from a classroom to a remote learning environment. Acer has really good graphics cards, and many models have built-in Wi-Fi and cameras. So for those without the built-in cameras, Microsoft has a great line of accessories, including full-size keyboards, mice, and webcams that a teacher may find helpful for online instruction. So again, it's a great opportunity to include a case. Higher Ground has bags, not just the covers, but the actual bags. I personally use the 3.1 vertical style. It converts from a messenger bag to a backpack, and it's super durable. So, but also your teachers are going to helpful. They'll have to be printing some items. So they may have to print some assignments for review or for grading. So having an all-in-one printer copier would make their home classroom complete. Epson has a lot of great options in the right size for a home office. And actually on some printer models, they're running a great K-12 incentive. For each printer purchase, they offer 2 years of free ink. That fits pretty nicely into a K-12 budget. So remote learning doesn't have to be all death by PowerPoint, right? Or a talking head. Students need to have some interaction to break up that lesson a little bit, much like a classroom atmosphere. So this is where Google Expeditions can help out. And I've been doing this with my daughter recently. The teacher can assign a specific AR or VR expedition experience. The student can access it from their phone, their Chromebook, or a compatible tablet. It's a great, interactive, engaging way to educate students from afar. So Google Expeditions is free software for the teachers. And when they transition back into the classroom environment, Expeditions can be used there in small group sessions. So it's a really versatile tool. It's free, and it's for teachers and entertaining lessons for the students. It's pretty cool. So speaking of getting back into the classroom, when they do, the teachers and the students are going to be more used to using online educational tools. So it's reasonable to expect that even the classroom setting is going to be forever changed. And what a great opportunity to cast a video or a screenshot, graphic, table, etc., right, from the teacher's device directly to the IFP or the digital screen in the classroom. This is possible by the push of one button with the AirTame Cloud product. It's a really exciting product, and we did a full webinar on this just about a couple weeks ago. That full video is on demand at D&H.com, so be sure you check that out when you have a chance. Speaking of other ways to keep students engaged, we have the Microsoft Kano Pc. It's a collaborative unit, and it's exclusive to D&H. So this is a STEM kit by Kano, where all the students are going to do is follow a curriculum. They will build the computer, and it runs Windows 10 in S mode. It's complete with Minecraft, the full Microsoft suite of products, and all the Kano educational tools. So the students get to use the computer that they just built. What a great way to use some STEM grants to build out a computer lab, or maybe even just a classroom supply of devices, right? So e-learning is here. So when you're chatting with your schools, be sure to consider the student setup, the teacher setup, and some creative ways to transition learning back into the classroom to encompass a full hardware solution. So it's also worth noting that before the coronavirus crisis moved all of our students to a remote environment, the hot topics in K-12 were esports and physical security. So when we get the students back into the schools, those are still going to be your hot topics. Keeping those in mind, I want to direct you to our esports offering. Be sure to check out our playbook on the esports page at dnh.com/esports. Also, we are still active in the physical security space. We have seen great success with partners like Ubiquity and their access point that includes a public address system with a push of one button. We're also able to have Guide Grace, the physical security director at Littleton Public Schools in Colorado. He spoke at our virtual K-12 session during Threadcast in March. So be sure to check out that video. Some additional resources I want to make sure I draw your attention to. At dnh.com/esports, as I mentioned, we have esports webinars, content, videos, and we have the playbook there for reference. But additionally, at dnh.com/K12, we have a resource guide. We sent them out in the mail, so you may have received it that way as well, but it's downloadable and it includes end user facing marketing. So we also have webinar links to past events. We also have at dnh.com partner services. And partner services is your free marketing tool, right? We have end user facing marketing templates that are all about making our partners look like rock stars. So with that, I'll turn it back to Keith for the Q&A.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a bunch of questions coming down the road. Awesome. Kind of a little bit for everyone. First one here is, do you offer complete solution packages? So yes and no. You won't find a single SKU at D&H that gives you an entire solution, but we definitely have some good, better, best scenarios put together. If you contact that esports alias, they can get that out to you. And those will hit most levels for most schools. The next one from Rick at NNet. Have any schools with more mature esports that have upgraded from original gear that was purchased? If so, about how far into an esports program does upgrading become an issue?
That comes with a big depends. It depends on a lot of factors. So that's really hard to answer without any specific information on the school district. When it comes to the actual esports hardware, I know, Rhonda, you've spoken with Mr. Kirby from the high school esports gaming league, and they offer a program where they're upgrading hardware at once every 3 years.
That's what they recommend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and that's about the typical lifespan we've seen. About once every 3 years, they're looking to do at least a graphics card update, because at that point the games have progressed so far that the old graphics cards can no longer support them at the resolution and frame rate that the athletes are looking for. I would say it's pretty safe that every about 3 years you're looking to upgrade graphics cards. Every about 5 years, if you're really looking to push the limits, you're upgrading. So that's what we're typically looking at.
Yeah, it really comes down again to budget with that. A lot of the schools try to upgrade as much as they can. But the soonest we're really seeing is probably 24 months.
Yeah.
So we got another one here, came in from Facebook for us. Any solutions for e-commerce? Adding here to ensure it's included in the recap report. I would say the products are out there for e-commerce. I think the hardest part is this is really more of a solution sale than it is just selling a pieces and parts sale. In some situations, the schools will just go out and buy the products themselves. For our business, do most schools require past project references?
Go ahead.
Yeah. From the people we've talked to so far, which is a lot of retailers and a lot of schools, we have not heard anyone asking for that so far. Really, their expertise with the hardware is usually good enough to get their foot in the door and get the product set up.
I found also, I just want to add on to that, that one of the things we're seeing is that the schools are reaching out to their existing IT partners So that's someone that they already trust in terms of relationship.
As an additional resource, real quick, Paige, as an additional resource, Rhonda did speak about the Kano systems that we offer. We did a live broadcast with the folks from Kano and Microsoft as well, kind of going over the Kano systems, how to put it together. It was a great presentation. If you have a chance to check it out, dnh.com/DHTV, it's available there, and on dnh.com's or D&H's YouTube page. Go ahead, Keith.
And I want to throw out that.
Go ahead, Brenna.
I wanted to add on to that Kano comment. When I mentioned that we've had schools that have won STEM grants that are using this Kano Pc to build out computer labs. Mm-hmm. So through a STEM grant, because the STEM grant, you have to build the product in order to receive the grant itself. That's part of the program. So using a STEM grant and that Kano Pc, it's a great combination.
Yeah. Very easy to put together as well. So it's not a daunting technical feat to put those systems together. Super fun to do it. I would say if you gave clear instructions, a kindergartner could put together those systems. So it's available for all ages.
And it does come with a curriculum.
Yep.
That's an important part for sure.
Yeah.
I have another really good question. What challenges are you running into with having to quickly convert schools to e-learning environments? How are you combating these challenges?
I would say the challenges are just the speed with which it had to happen, right? I think that was there was less planning, more doing than what would be ideal. Some of the things we've done for our partners, we have, I think this broadcast talk about some of the technology. There's a resource guide coming out that will kind of summarize all the different components and areas that you need to consider when you're planning a deployment like this for your schools as well. So I think the biggest challenge is just how quickly it happened. Everything from internet connectivity to getting devices into the kids' hands is what the schools were seeing.
Yeah.
I think internet connectivity is a big thing, webcams and headsets. And obviously devices, I think, and devices that are age appropriate.
Correct.
So something that a high schooler is going to use might be a little bit different than an elementary student.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Another good question just came in. Will stock be an issue for the second half of this year? Manufacturers, we're definitely seeing some slowness in the distribution channel for individual CPUs to purchase, but when it comes to the laptop and desktop side, we're really not seeing a lot of slowdown there.
And from a technical sports side, heading up the pre-sales department here at D&H, we're in contact with a lot of vendors that are putting together a lot of these devices, whether it be headsets, webcams, internet connectivity. There's nothing can be said with any certainty right now, specifically because of what's happening in the world. But general consensus from a lot of the vendors are they're expecting product to kind of start freeing back.
K12. So we've been getting a various amount of questions, right? So we've got everything from what products to use. Some people have been asking how to set up more of an arena setup, things like that. Who to talk to, who the right person at the school to talk to. And most of these things you can find on our playbook that's available on the esports website at D&H.
Yeah, including how to start a team, right? That's another big question is how do we get involved and how do you get the platform? We're going to make the platform available as a SKU that you can purchase for your schools, for our platform as well.
You know, and speaking like we talked about hardware here at the beginning part of it, that's realistically the easy part. The resources in that playbook that is available on dnh.com, those are resources that if you haven't taken a look at, those are going to be your starting point for any school, because the hardware is the hardware. It can be interchangeable, but your relationship and how you start going after and educating these schools about how they can become part of the esports experience, that's the difficult part, and we have a great playbook available for that.
That is definitely a big part of it, though. Like Chris said, the hardware is not difficult. If you're already selling hardware to schools, or if you're selling PCs, that's the basic part. It's the rest of the things that can become difficult. Here's an interesting one. Are more partners using Zoom for e-learning, or Teams, or Chrome? Is there a reason why schools shouldn't just use a free Zoom license during this temporary disruption versus spending money on licensing?
That's been the challenge. But yeah, I'm hearing more and more about using Google than I am Zoom.
Yeah, I think a lot of people started off on Zoom, and there was too many security issues that caused problems for schools.
Yeah, and with schools
sure.
and security of their students and all, yeah, for sure.
Going back to the K-12 funding, will schools be out of funding for 2020-21 school year if they've having to spend so much money to enable remote learning right now? Is there any government support coming to support schools to help them enable remote learning?
Yes. There's a lot. I just sat through a webinar. I'm still getting up to speed on it. I'm not an expert yet. Give me a week on the CARES Act.
Only a week.
I know, a week. Just give me a week. But this is everything from getting rural areas connected, devices. The other thing I've had a couple of schools call me with, they've said that they've had, I just talked about one yesterday, that some of them are using their spring sports budgets. Since they weren't using spring sports, they're putting it into devices. But I think you guys might be referring to harvest season. And I expect that this is part of it, but I think we're going to see maybe 2 harvest seasons. But because of that same conversation, Keith, I think you were on the call, we were talking about the schools that are using their spring sports budgets. Some of them have allocated it to devices, but a lot of them are allocating it into esports, because that is something that those tournaments are still going on and the kids are doing it from home. So right now, esports is a way for those students to stay connected with their peers in school and still, compete. So those tournaments are still going.
So there's a lot of resources out there from D&H right now, from both K-12 and the esports side. Looking from the esports side first, you can go to the mini site for D&H, which is dnh.com/esports, which is a really great way to, just directly go in. Everything from who to talk to, how to talk to the schools, what's important when you're setting up a team, how to get started with a team, all of those things are included in there. And those really are the parts that are the hardest for getting started. If you look at the K-12 side, we've got the K-12 mini site, which is also www.dnh.com/K12. And there's the K-12 webinar there to see a lot of the D&H vendors. And there was some great presentations on esports and K-12 solutions in the channel there that you guys can see. So you can find that at dnh.com/threadcast.